Hello students and welcome to week 5 of 3D modeling. This is going to start our organic modeling process. So today's video will be a bit short. We're going to do the feet and then we're going to start on another video afterwards. We're going to do the legs. I'll separate each part of the body in different videos. I was going to do one longer video, but I'm actually going to separate that out a little bit so you guys have time to breathe and practice modeling different parts of the body as we go forward. So first step we need to do is we're going to set up an image plane of the character we want. Now, if you do want to pick your own character that you want to do, that's fine. I would suggest to have orthographics. Remember the front and left side view of the character. However, if you do not have an orthographic ready and you'd like to follow along more steadily, then I will provide you a zip file with two different orthographics, a front and side view of a character. And for some of you that have done 3D tutorials before, this character is known as Joan, and we're going to work on her together. We'll go step by step to make sure this all works out well. So I'm going to set up an image plane here. It doesn't matter the size. I'm going to push M to go to the material editor. And we notice that we have the material editor there. For those who forget the material editor, on the left-hand side, we can create materials by double-clicking them. They appear in the node window here that shows our material type. And then I double click on the material title here and it shows the parameters. So just double click on the material you want, double click on the title for the information here that you can change. I'm going to call this Joan front. So this is Joan's front view material. I can either click on this little box here right beside diffuse, not the long box, that's the actual color that the object is going to be. This is the material map browser. Or I can double click on the diffuse color circle here and it will ask me for a material map that I choose. And then I can go down the list and pick anything I want, or I can click bitmap to pick a file from my computer. I will double click bitmap. I will find the file on the computer that I want, and I see that I have the Joan face view here, and I can see that the parameters for this are 512 by 512. So if I grab this, and I double click on the image here, I can see the image. If I double click on here, I can see what it looks like on the sphere, and I can click on my 3D model here, and then right click on the title here and click assign material to selection. And then right click again on this title and go show shaded material in viewport. Now it might be a little stretched out because the numbers here aren't even. Since this is 512 by 512, I'm actually going to make this 512 by 512. I can rescale this no matter what. It's just getting that scale right. That's the issue. And so now that I have this done, I'm going to duplicate it over by holding shift and rotating. So do a 90-degree angle like that, copy. And then I'm going to move that here and here. So I'm just going to set them off the plane a little bit because any object I create in 3D in any of these views will always try and appear appear at the 0, 0 mark. You see like they all create from this point. Any view I want creates from the grid. So I'm leaving this space open so that I actually have the space to create it. Now, here's two things that you're going to notice about the orthographic. Okay, we're just going to set up our left plane really fast. I'm going to create another standard. I'm going to call this Joan side view. Joan side. I'm going to double click diffuse color, the little circle. I'm going to click bitmap and I'm going to find the side view. And I'm going to open this up a little bit more by double clicking it. Double click. And then I'm going to assign it to the side here. Assign material to selection, or you can click this little button here, assign material to selection. Now right click again, show a shaded material in viewport. Sorry, this is the right view of the body, so I'm just going to rotate that all the way around here. Like that. So I'll make it somewhere like this. So I have the front view here and the right view, but like one thing we notice is that it's a bit annoying because you can see the lighting is actually affecting our image planes. And maybe we just want to see them correctly all the time. We don't want lighting to affect them. Well, this is where we can actually go to our material and go to self-illumination and turn this number to like 100. What you'll notice is that lighting in 3D Studio Max no longer affects these image planes. You can see them very clearly from any angle. No lighting, no shading, no nothing. Self-illumination helps that for you. So if you're working on a character that has a texture but requires no lighting, or shading, at least in 3D Studio Max, and you bring it into Unity because it's supposed to be for mobile or something like that and requires no lighting or no shadows, then this is a good way to simulate that, is by just changing the color amount. We can change it to 50%, so it only takes half the lights, or 100% to take none of the lights. And this is just a good way to set up image planes so that you can work with them. So now that these two image planes are set up, I'm going to highlight both of them. I'm going to go to Object Properties, and I'm going to turn off Show Frozen in Gray. And then I'm going to freeze these objects. And now we have two image planes that are there and frozen, and we can work from them. Easy peasy, not a problem. Don't forget to also create layers for them. So I'm going to go to my Scene and Layer Manager here, and I'm going to highlight both of them, and I'm going to create new layer, and I'm going to call these references. If I can name it right. And then I'm going to rename these objects. This will be reference front and reference side. So ref side, ref front. So we have two frozen objects named ref side and ref front in a reference layer. They have two materials that have 100% self-illumination, and yeah, we're ready to get started now. I'm going to go through my views here. I'm going to push G to get rid of the grids. I'll leave the grid on this one here. I'll go to my top view here. I'll get rid of the grid here. I push Z to zoom all extents so I can see everything. And everything looks pretty good to go. So what we're going to do after we set up our image planes and they all look great, is we're going to start working on the basic cubes of the character. And we're going to do that in the next video. Like I said, I'm going to break these down part by part, and this is step one. Step one is getting the orthographic ready, getting your layer set up for your reference layer, and we're going to set up another layer before we stop this part. And I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to call it body, because we're going to start modeling the body. So have a references layer, we're going to have a body layer, we're going to have our zero default template layer still sitting around, and make sure to make these image references all work. And the next video that I'm going to upload, we're going to start on the foot.